Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Train Sim World 6, and today we are back on a route that we have not played on the channel for quite some time now. This is the Suffragette line of the London Overground, a route by Dovetail Games, and if you're wondering why it's called the Suffragette line, it used to be called the Goblin line, not officially but colloquially, but now it's referred to as the Suffragette line for some reason. Never really got Transport for London naming conventions, but there you go. We're in the Class 710-2 Aventra today with a full run of the line from here at Barking Riverside to Gospel Oak. So let's get started. Right, gotta remember how to set this thing up. Press forward, open the doors. Okay, GSMR is behaving a tad weirdly. Let's get the taillights off, please. Fan speed. Can I turn you off? No. Oh well. Yeah, I'm using Winzarton's live weather mod today. Let's also get the safeties on. Is there a TPWS panel around? No. Let's just get the safeties on then. Oh, there's the temporary isolation. And vigilance, shut you. Alright, so let's zoom the map out so we get some better frames. And I must say, I really do like this route. It's a bit short, it's linear, it's only 30 miles long, but it's a full run of the line, it's a full route, and not only that, it has some pretty nice details, and the Class 710 is a nice unit. Even working lifts. Look at that. Working lifts in most stations and like route appropriate details at most stations as well. The NPCs, of course, like any route, are doing NPC things and behaving incredibly weirdly, but then again, that's just the NPCs in this game. Our service today is 2 Juliet 30, stopping at Barking Riverside, Barking, Woodgrange Park, Wanstead Park, Leytonstone, High Road, Leighton Midland Road, Walthamstow, Queens Road, Black Horse Road, South Tottenham, Haringey Green Lanes, Crouch Hill, Upper Holloway, and Gospel Oak. Alright, let's get moving. Yeah. You also, if you have the West Coast Mainline South, London Euston to Milton Keynes route installed, can run the Class 710 under third rail power if you have the if you have that route, because included with the Euston to Milton Keynes route is the full Watford DC line of the London Underground, or I think it's referred to as the Lioness line nowadays for some reason, but yeah. And then for some reason, like the North London line route developed by Johannes Hartmann, aka Incredible Trains, is also for some reason now, it used to be called the North London line until a couple of years ago. Now it's the what is it? The Mildmay line. I must say, you do not get too many Transport for London routes in this game, and yeah, this is probably my personal favourite out of all of them. The Transport for London routes that you get in this game are the Bakerloo line, both with the ancient Bakerloo line route, and also in partial form thanks to the West Coast Mainline South route. You get the full Lioness line of the London Overground thanks to the West Coast Mainline South route again. Then you get the Suffragette line thanks to this route, and the Mildmay line thanks to the route by Incredible Trains, aka Johannes Hartmann. 1.7 miles to Barking. What is also nice is if you have layers, there is quite a large amount of freight that layers on this route. I think the last time I was on this line for a service was actually so I could check out Spratty Heath's Class 66 Mega Pack mod a few months back. I've actually uninstalled all mods in the game since then, And the only reason I'm using the live weather mod is because A, it makes it slightly more realistic, and B, it doesn't use a .pack file, and I've discovered that using mods of any kind, just for me, since I'm running on a pretty old machine at this point, kills the game's performance. So, it is what it is, sadly. Performance is mediocre, 42 frames. This early into a run is not particularly good, but it is what it is. I'm not sure if this unit has dynamic suspension. Let's have a look. You can always tell by looking. No, I don't think so. But the sounds are nice. Modeling is nice, sounds are nice. And considering this is the only Aventra we've gotten in the game, well, I tell a lie, because on the mild mode route, you get AI only class 345 Aventras and class 720 Aventras in Elizabeth Line and Greater Anglia, I think it is, liveries respectively, but those are AI only. So far, the only proper Aventra we've had that's drivable is the class 710, sadly, since there are quite a few different 710s around. There are the 701 Arterias in use by Southwestern Rail, the class 345s by the Elizabeth Line, the class 720s by Greater Anglia, the 7... what are they? I'm trying to remember what they are. Yeah, I just blanked out. I cannot remember. There's also a small detail that I do want to show you, the viewers, before... Oh, notch 4 is the emergency. That's good to know. Oops. Alright, so if we go in drone camera real quick, Barking does have quite a few more trains. It's also on a particular line of the London Underground. There's also some other operator which comes here, which I can't remember the name for, but those are not represented in game, sadly. If we go up here, up the staircase, and then look along this side, I believe one of the office doors is openable. And there's a whole office section in here, which I never ever knew about. And I've had this route for nearly 2 years at this point, and I never knew about those offices that were there. How cool is that? Right. I must say the sounds on this unit are excellent. Having ridden on the class 345s pretty extensively, I can say that the sounds on this are quite accurate. Oh, and I forgot to mention there are a couple of Aventras. The class 730s, I believe, which are in use by LNWR and West Midlands trains, which don't look like Aventras, but are Aventras, since they're on the same platform and have cab gangway doors, unlike their other Aventra counterparts, which is a bit weird, but which makes them look completely unlike all the other Aventras. But yeah. Next stop, Woodgrange Park. This route was actually implemented before announcements became a thing, which is a bit sad, because that would be quite a nice immersion boost to have them, but it is what it is, sadly. There's another 710, heading to Barking Riverside, and unfortunately the class 378 from Mildmay does not layer in as AI at Gospel Oak, because that is actually a station the Suffragette and Mildmay lines actually share in real life. But unfortunately, all you see is AI 710s, when in fact it should be class 378s, even though we have them in the game. But oh well. At least that means I can see the AI at Gospel Oak, because I don't have the Mile May line. I might get the Mile May line if the Richmond extension turns out well, but I actually got it on one of my... You can go back to my 2026 New Year bonus stream that's still available publicly, and I actually bought the Mild May and played it for like 10 minutes, and the quality issues were appalling. The performance was abysmal, to say the least. Yeah, it was just the cab gangways are still... The gangways between coaches are still a complete and utter mess. Oh, crumbs. I do apologize. Stop, please. Yeah, I haven't driven the 710 in ages, so you have to forgive me for some mild skill issues today. Yeah. Oh, the PIS screens. Hang on. Look at this. This is correct to the real ones, and it says good service on all of them. Like Elizabeth Line, Piccadilly. Yeah, those actually show like trains delayed or stuff on other lines if there are delays in real life. But since it's TSW, they all show good service. It's a perfect world that we live in this game. But yeah, just wanted to point that out because that is a pretty nice little detail that Transport for London trains, well, modern Transport for London trains have. Seems as though the weather's clearing up a bit. Yeah. Hopefully I have... Yeah, I have all the safeties on. Oh, it's beginning to rain! Fascinating. Well, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be Britain if it didn't rain. Oh. Hang on, I'll get the wipers on. It's oh, I haven't done that before? Right. Next stop, Wanstead Park, in just under a mile. One thing I do like about the Aventras is they have a very nice cab. It's Spartan, but it also has some... Ooh, come on. Some very nice... Like, the buttons are nice and pleasing to look at. It's a very well laid out cab, and I do like it. The only thing it's missing, and this will be a reference that most of you probably won't get, is it does not have "Don't Panic" painted in large friendly letters across the cab. If anybody gets that reference, please comment it down below, because I would love to know if anyone still gets that reference in this day and age. Oh, there's another line down there. Is that the... What is that? There's a lot of lines in London which I'm not London's rail network is just so vast. I'm only familiar with some certain sections of it, like the Great Western Main Line, West Coast Main Line, East Coast Main Line. Like, you could ask me about the Great Eastern Main Line and I'd be like, huh? Because yeah, there's certain, yeah, like London's suburban rail network is just so large, massive, and complicated that I could never hope to understand it in the space of a lifetime. Alright, here we go, coming into Wanstead Park. I do love the Transport for London, like, everything is branded Transport for London, and that's why I love the live weather app. Because, I know this is a bit of a tangent, but yeah, the dynamic weather that's built into the game doesn't follow real life weather patterns, and the transitions are broken to this day, and it seems to get stuck on stuff like oh crumbs. It seems to get stuck on like heavy rain or fog, and it just looks, and then you're stuck with that for the rest of your run. But at the live weather mod, which is downloadable via the link in the description, you can get dynamic weather that is realistic to real life. Yeah. It's just drizzling right now, but maybe the weather will turn heavier. I don't know. It's just a very nice touch. I do like it. Right, 20 seconds. What's our next stop? Leytonstone High Road. Oh, hello. Getting wheel slip. We weren't getting that before. Next stop, Leytonstone High Road. Let's try to crank it just so we can... Yeah. It's not liking us to use full power. 90% seems to work. Yeah. Since the 710 is a modern train with the full suite of systems that you would expect from something this modern, it is quite easy to drive since it has quite a few driver protections like TPWS standard, AWS, DSD, vigilance, all that good stuff. But yeah, doesn't like going full power in wet weather, that's for sure. Excuse me, still recovering from my cold a bit here. Yeah. 0.6 miles to go. Looks as though we have a 40 limit coming into Leytonstone High Road. Yeah, this is a bit of a relaxing drive. While the stations are quite close together, it is the speed limits are not too high. And if you keep to the speed limits, you're pretty much good to go in terms of timing. The timetable's relatively generous. One fun fact about this line is, it was actually unelectrified for the longest time. Oh, really? Discard. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, that's a decent shot. Hang on. Let's see if I can move that in. Tad of motion blur, just a tad, not too much. Motion blur, depth of field. Oh, let's turn down the motion blur and then get the depth of field going to the appropriate level. Now let's turn up the motion blur. Alright, that looks decent. This line was... what I was going to say before I had to mute my mic there was... Do you have a sander? That's nice. Yeah, you could tell it was struggling for grip. Yeah. The door sounds are also pretty appropriate as well. But what was I going to say? This line was actually unelectrified for the longest time, but before the line was electrified, NPC just came out of the train, walked across the tracks, is now running headfirst into a wall while trespassing on the railway. Someone called the BTP. Unacceptable that the NPCs still do that to this day. Anyway, where was I? So this line actually, until relatively recently, before the line was electrified, the line actually used Class 171 Turbo Stars, which is just such a weird thought that the Overground was running Turbo Stars. Oh, I need to manage the power. Next up, Leyton Midland Road. Looks as though it's beginning to cloud over. Oh, crumbs. I do apologize. Every time I look at the live weather app, I have to pause and unpause the game because otherwise it messes around with some of my keys stop working because I exited the window. I don't know. I don't know why it happens. Come on, stop it. Seem to be keeping to time despite our slower acceleration, which is nice. Alright, easy does it. Alright, shut the power off, because we are on a hill. Oh, crumbs. This is not going to be a speeding I'm definitely going to have some points docked for speeding, that's for sure. Oh dear. I must say, around TSW3 and TSW4, there were 2 routes released. 2 British modern-day electrified routes that run between, that are full-line runs running between 2 specific points. Those being the Glossop line, Manchester to Hadfield and Glossop, and then this, the Suffragette line, Barking Riverside to Gospel Oak. And I must say, out of those 2, I do definitely prefer this, because the Gospel Oak to Barking, the Glossop line has definitely begun to show its age since Alan Thompson Sims' Manchester Airport Commuter was released, which is sad, but it is what it is. The Glossop line needs, the Manchester Airport Commuter got some updates which the Glossop should have gotten but didn't. Right, 80%. Next stop, Walthamstow, Queen's Road. Easy does it. Let's put it to 100. Oh, even with sand at 100%, it still wheel slips like crazy. You gotta be careful. It is definitely beginning to rain here in the north part of London. I do like how this line is on an embankment. I imagine this is because it was an older line that was built. Yeah, it was because it was built back in the steam era, so it was built on an embankment above everything else. And they've kept the embankment since the... yeah, wouldn't be any point in demolishing it and rebuilding. This is a nice drive. I do like it. The scenery's decent. Asset quality is decent. A few minor bugs here and there, but not really anything to complain about. The bridges look nice. The 710 is a nice unit to drive, if a bit too easy for my taste. I do prefer the old BR Electric stuff. The old British Rail Electrics. Like, I wish we could get the Class 319 in Thameslink livery as an add-on for Brighton Mainline and South Eastern High Speed, representing a time before the Class 700s came in. Since I would absolutely love to see the Class 319 since I like watching videos on the old Thameslink, on the old Armstrong Powerhouse Class 319 from what is it? From Train Simulator Classic, that's the one. Stop, please. Tad of an overshoot. Oh, no, pretty perfect. Haven't had the need to deploy the DRA yet, and what is it? Yeah, we have a lot of lines crossing over in this run, and I believe the one just out, yeah, the one after Hargate Green Lanes, you can see there's an AI train running on it. That's actually the East Coast Main Line, so you could actually see Thameslink and LNER AI from East Coast Main Line Peterborough to Doncaster and South Eastern High Speed running on there if you have those 2 routes. Excuse me. Alright, next stop, Black Horse Road. Come on, buddy. Let's get it moving. This route in some ways reminds me of the Cathcart Circle line, only much more linear. And I think that's the attempt they were trying to go for. short, electrified route with a lot of detail. And I must say, Dovetail Games, for all their problems, do the short the shorter routes a lot better than they do the longer ones, because the longer routes seem to have lower detail the longer you go. Seems to be the shorter the route, the better the quality. Even with the... and that seems to be the formula for even the third-party developers. Even ones... though, I must say there are a couple of exceptions to the rule, of course. Train Sim Germany, with their Niedertalbahn and Mittelwaldbahn and upcoming Neckartalbahn routes, seem to have the routes go as long as they want to and still be absolutely astoundingly good quality. And then, yeah, that is Nebworth. There's another 710. Yep. Our first Nebworth of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Where was I? Oh, yes. There seem to be a couple of developers who seem to buck the trend of having shorter routes. Shorter routes equals better quality than longer routes equals worse quality, you know? Like, Train Sim Germany, no matter the length of the route, Train Sim Germany just trains, and to an extent All Aboard Studios, no matter the length of the route, seem to pull off a decent quality. Speaking of All Aboard Studios, last night, for me, they just announced the release date of the Avanti West Coast Class 805 Evero for West Coast Mainline South and Birmingham to Crewe. There seems to be the community reception to that news seems to have been a tad mixed. There seems to be one group who are decently excited for it, but and have both those routes already, and then there's other people who are like, why are we getting yet another member of the IET family marketed as a new product? And to an extent, I agree with both of those groups of people, I should say, because the IETs have been recycled quite a bit at this point. We had the 801 with Peterborough to Doncaster, the 802 with the Riviera line, and now we're getting a third IET. Oh, hello. Sorry for the distraction, but shed alert, that with, that seems to be the weathered EWS one with some FKA intermodal rate, with an FKA intermodal rate. Sadly, it's not the FCAs from Cargo Line Volume 3, but you can't win them all. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So and then the other group, and then I also agree with the other group of people, because I think the Class 805 is a pretty necessary addition to the rail scene of both Birmingham Crewe and West Coast Mainline South. It's just having it marketed as a new product for 15 quid UK pounds seems a bit on the expensive side. The 805, though, does claim to have some new improvements versus the older IETs in the game. It seems it will have a completely new sound set recorded off of a real IET, because yeah, the current IETs in the game don't have a sound set recorded off of IETs. A lot of the electric motor sounds are recycled from the Class 377 Electro Star of all things, but the diesel engine on the Class 802 does sound decent and realistic. Then, yeah, the Class, what is it? Oh, we're 30 seconds late. That is not good. Yeah. So, I've got a bit of a mixed opinion on the Class 805. I agree with both schools of thought. I believe that while the Class 805 is necessary, having it marketed as an entirely new train, where we've already got two other members of the family in the game, is bit hypocritical and a bit money grabby, and also asking for £15 for it full price is a blatant cash grab, considering not much has changed on it related to the other two members of the IET family, aside from a new sound set and a bit of a different interior. The new timetables, however, do look decent. The West Coast Mainline South timetable will have over 2,000 services total, with 1,000 of them being playable, which is pretty respectable. That they've managed to make that work on Generation 9 and PCs. Generation 8 consoles won't be able to pick this up because, frankly, I don't even understand why this game still supports Generation 8 consoles. They're well over half a decade out of date at this point, and yeah, anyway, bit of a tangent there. And then the Birmingham Crew will, despite it being set in 2019, will get an entirely new timetable, complete with the Class 805 set in 2025. However, the Class 805 will only have about 25 services total in each timetable. So 25 services for West Coast Mainline South and 25 services for Birmingham to Crewe, which is realistic. The 805s are not used that much. They're only used for the Euston to Llandudno or Holyhead run, since they're by mode. But having that little playability for a new locomotive, new method of rolling stock marketed at £15 is a bit scummy. It should be much cheaper, but this is not All Aboard Studios' fault about the pricing. Dovetail Games sets the pricing of an add-on, so it's their fault, 100%, for how expensive it is relative to the amount of services you get. And I know I'll probably be accused of being hypocritical because I'm quite a fan of Skyhook Games' Cargo Line Volume 5 pack, which only has about 20 playable services in total across both West Coast Mainline South and West Coast Mainline Preston Carlisle. But yeah, it's a matter of whether you enjoy something. I think okay, in order to wrap this tangent up, I think I will get the Class 805, but only on a sale, and and then I would get Birmingham to Crewe and West Coast Mainline Trent Valley at the same time. Because, yeah, All Aboard Studios seem to have this thing where they're trying to make a distinct ecosystem for all of their products. So Birmingham to Crewe doesn't have all the versions of the Class 350, and then West Coast Mainline Trent Valley will only have one version of the Class 350 because it's included with Birmingham to Crewe, and then the 805 will layers onto all three of them, and it's a bit of a mess. But yeah, I think I will. The quality, I think, is undeniably there. It's just that I do not think it's worth it full price. So I will, as I said, I will get Birmingham to Crewe, West Coast Mainline Trent Valley, and the Class 805 all together on a sale, since they all seem to layer onto each other and be a complete ecosystem. And plus, I just want to eventually do the full West Coast Mainline run from London Euston all the way up to Carlisle. Hopefully there's someone working on a West Coast Mainline North Carlisle to Glasgow route, because once West Coast Mainline Trent Valley and a hypothetical West Coast Mainline North route come out, that would mean that we would have the entire West Coast Mainline in the game, albeit in multiple different eras. West Coast Mainline South would be in 2025, West Coast Mainline Trent Valley would be in 2025, Preston Crewe would be in 1986, Preston Carlisle will be in 1986, and yeah. Oh, there's the little spur line for the East Coast Mainline there. Coming in. Nearly at Crouch Hill. Nearly, and then we have Upper Holloway, Gospel Oak. So yeah, as I said, I'll pick up all three All Aboard Studios products on a sale, but I'll probably enjoy them. They seem like decent products. Birmingham to Crewe seems a bit performance heavy, but decent. The Class 805 looks decent from what I've seen. And then Trent Valley, from what shots we've seen of it will also probably be a decent product, but yeah, I'm just... Yeah. What I'm really cross about is that I was hoping we would... I know this is a pretty... yeah, some people will probably take offense at this, but I was hoping the Aventra Class 805 would come after, the Great Western Express remaster, since we got the 10-minute gameplay showcase at the end of last year. Feels weird to think 2025 was last year. We are early, thank goodness. But yeah, I'm just annoyed that despite the fact that Great Western Express Remaster has been done for quite a bit at this point, and beta testers have been able to play it for quite a while now, and the ambassadors know the release date of the Great Western Express Remaster, and yet the Aventra West Coast 805 seems to have taken prominence despite being in development and announced for a far shorter amount of time and having far less hype around it. I know I've gone on a bit of a rant there, but yeah. Next up, Upper Holloway. Also, I do hope that you checked out my Chiltern Mainline Banbury to, London Marylebone to Banbury, Oxford and Aylesbury video. That took quite a bit to put together, so please do have a look at it. Right, 900 yards to go, and I believe, yeah, this is the second to last stop before Gospel Oak. I do like this line. I know it's not the most prominent London Overground line, and it's not the longest line in the world, but it is at least the full line with the appropriate method of motive power for this route in the modern era. And even the extension to Barking Riverside is included, which is quite new. It only opened like 2 years ago, the extension to Barking Riverside, and even in TSW it's still very much the area around Barking Riverside, which today is a neighborhood, is in game very much still a construction zone. 200 yards to Upper Holloway, so can go up to 55 miles an hour. I would not recommend it because we do have to slow down for... We are slightly late to Upper Holloway, but it is Transport for London after all. They're not perfect. They do run trains pretty much on time, most of the time. One little feature I do like is the Upper Holloway signal box, which is modelled but no interior, sadly. I wouldn't really expect an interior on a signal box. It's not like an immersion feature. I just like it. But yeah, the only routes which have modelled signal box interiors are Rursig Nord at Finnentrop, I think, Island Line 2022 at... I cannot remember where the modelled signal box is. It starts with a B, that much I know. But yeah, next up, Gospel Oak in 1 mile, which is our final stop of the day, and then the two Just Trains routes, Blackpool Branches and Preston to Carlisle, both have modelled signal boxes, and I believe their upcoming route, Preston to Crewe, will also have modelled signal box interiors, which shall be quite nice indeed to have. Yeah, I should say Crewe to Preston, yeah, but one thing I'm really hoping for is a what I hope that we get, and I'm not saying Just Trains are making this, but since the two West Coast mainline routes that Just Trains have made are set in 1986, and also Blackpool Branches is set in 1986, is it possible we could maybe get the what is it? The class 3, I think it's the class 378 advanced passenger train, or APT, because since that was still running in line in 1986, it would be retired the next year, but it was still running. So if we could get that, the APT, that's one of my dream trains to come to the game. And if Just Trains did it, it would be absolutely just stupendous quality, since that's what they do, since that Just Trains is trademark, and Just Flights as well. Like, if you're into flight sim, I'd advise you check out Just Flight. It's the same company as Just Trains, just the flight sim arm, and they make some absolutely superb products. I've got the Avro Vulcan from Just Flight, and I've got Blackpool Branches, Preston Carlisle, and the class 86/2 from Just Trains, and all of them are absolutely stupendous. And Just Flight have made a wide variety of different add-ons, everything from retro airliners to Cold War V-bombers to a lot of other stuff. Oh, there's another what is it? FK intermodal train with a class 66. Oh, and you can tell it's the Cargo Line Volume 3 or Volume 4 version of the 66, since it has that headlight bug that Skyhook stuff fixed. But I don't expect Skyhook to fix it, because frankly there's only one person left on the team, and the train sim part of Skyhook has been reduced almost to nothing. We do know they're working on an Inter-7 City HST for Fife Circle and Edinburgh to Glasgow, but I don't know if they'll... It's probably a long way off, judge it, because there's only one person left. DRA on. Unlock the doors. Let's get the tail lights, marker lights off, tail lights on. And let's get the wiper off. There we go. There's the mild May line there, with a class 710 coming in. Should be a class 378, but it is what it is, sadly. Still haven't found a way to get rid of these annoying study markers, but it is what it is, sadly. Alright. Platinum medal, lost 300 points speeding, but oh well. So yeah, that'll be all for this video, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another one of these videos. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.